Now, moving on to our next topic, we have a little bit of an update about Matt Hoover and CRS Firearms. First and foremost, Matt's wife has launched Only Tactical Fans on YouTube. OTF is a brand new channel. If you would like to support Matt Hoover's ongoing fight to regain his freedom, get back home and see his family, I would encourage you to go check out the channel and subscribe to it. But as far as the updates go, unfortunately, it looks like the judge in this particular case is being biased, and there's a hilarious amount of Orwellian doublespeak if you take a look at the update video that Ms. Hoover did. At one point in the case, they say that the auto keycard was a firearm, yet on the other hand, they turn around and say that it's not. It's this weird Orwellian doublespeak that's just absolutely absurd to me, and the mere fact that this man is still sitting behind bars and has not been freed is a travesty. So, I may have a small presence here on YouTube, at least for the time being. I am hoping to grow, but if you see this and you're not familiar with CRS Firearms or Only Tactical Fans, go check out those channels, give them a like and a subscribe and a comment at the very least, and try and help them out. But in the meantime, I will continue rooting for and bringing attention to this particular case as best I can. And for our next topic, we have another, unfortunately, rather tragic incident coming from, surprise, surprise, the ATF. Unfortunately, it looks like Ruby Ridge was not enough for them. They had to do yet another no-knock, pre-dawn raid that resulted in someone losing life. Over at the Armed Attorneys, they covered the Milanowski case and the lawsuit in more detail, but to give you the short rundown on this particular subject, Milanowski was being investigated essentially behind the scenes by the ATF for selling firearms through private party sales. For whatever reason, they believed that he was selling too many guns without a FFL license. Now, normally, these particular situations would be handled by some letter or, talking to him, doing a basic investigation at first that at least tries to feel out the person that they are taking a look at. However, in this particular case, they ended up, as I was saying, doing a no-knock raid, middle of the night, pre-dawn. They covered up the Ring camera so that he would have no idea who was barging through the door. There was no body cam footage whatsoever. The only piece of identifiable information was that they were actually ATF agents, was a ballistics shield that was left behind. And in less than 60 seconds, I believe the exact number was 48 seconds, they go from barging in through his door to Milanowski being dead and his wife being left a widow. It's unacceptable. This is the kind of thing that needs to be treated harshly. I generally support the mission of law enforcement and first responders when it comes to keeping the community safe and dealing with criminals. However, this is not one of those cases. And when law enforcement agencies at any level, from the federal government to local and state police, they need to be held accountable when they do these kinds of things. In fact, more so than if it was a private citizen doing something similar. Honestly, it's cases like this that is the reason why so many people have a problem trusting the government to do its job correctly, because when they try to quote-unquote do their jobs, people end up dead. And it's usually innocent people who end up dead. For the time being, I can only hope that this particular lawsuit moves forward and Milanowski's widow is able to be successful in court. I can only hope that Trump's Department of Justice actually sees this case. Hello, Pam Bondi, please pay attention to this one, and doesn't try to put up any kind of a defense like they would do so as a knee-jerk reaction. This is something where, as as much as this is something that widow cannot be made whole, can't be given her husband back, can't be given all the time and money that I'm sure poured into trying to actually get some measure of justice, she does need some kind of recompense, acknowledgement for the fact that the federal government and the ATF specifically messed up and got her husband killed. People who are responsible should be held responsible for that. But, of course, I will be keeping an eye on this case, and I will be trying to give additional updates as new developments happen. But with all legal matters, this will take time, months, if not years, before any kind of a decision or even any new information or new filings end up happening in this. These kinds of things are notoriously slow, and unfortunately, that's just par for the course when it comes to getting justice from the federal government. They mess up.